1, 2, 3, clap. Einjabens. Hi, and welcome to Hey Buddy, Nice Podcast, the podcast brought to you by transglutamase. Over there in Scotland, that is Brogan Hastings. Oh, look at the foxes, the foxes.
I'm completely distracted when over there in Australia it's Wayne Giovinazzi being distracted because I pulled down a blanket.
That's two blankets, one chair.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting next to the radiator.
Yeah. I don't know, like, low energy is fine. We're fine with low energy, but the microphone, as long as your waveform looks fine, I'm good with it.
It looks okay. I'll maybe bring it closer.
Good. All right. You're trying to work out what you want to do with that fox blanket.
It's folded in half, that's what it is.
It looks like you're struggling.
I was trying to find the edge.
It's a relatively thin blanket.
It is.
Okay, you're going full Mother Teresa. Got ya.
No, babushka.
Yeah. Babushka, okay. So, if you get cut in half, there's smaller versions of you inside of yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. This looks weird.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you're wearing, like, you could have just worn your hoodie. I'm not questioning. I'm not judging. I'm not questioning your fashion choices.
I probably could have, but that would have involved effort.
Yeah, I guess.
And as we've already mentioned, this is a low effort.
Low energy. We're keeping it nice and low. Just to satisfy the moods.
I
guess.
ain't got nothing in the tank.
Aw. And with the price of fuel these days, it's just not worth energizing.
No. You've seen the price of batteries lately? Holy shit.
Batteries are usually on special. Batteries. Batteries. Is that a word that I say weird? Batteries?
You sound more American when you say it.
I think I say it like that on purpose.
Batteries.
Battery.
I don't know. Now I'm
Assault
self-conscious
and
about it.
Battery.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of vindicated the other day.
Vindication.
Friday. Vindication on gladiators.
Why?
I was sitting next to someone who I'll explain later, and why I sat next to them. But they were complaining about an ad that constantly kept getting played, or I don't know, whatever it was. Because the television show Gladiators is coming back. Australian version. He proclaimed, I really can't stand this Gladiators ad. And I was like smiling, like, you just said Gladiators. So maybe it's just a way that people in maybe specifically Perth, Western Australia say it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, hearing you say it like that is the first time I've ever heard a human being say gladiator like that ever in my life. And there's a, pretty well-known film called Gladiator.
Yeah,
so
but I've called it Gladiator. Glade plug-in freshy-ator.
Yeah, but you're a bizarre individual regardless.
Yeah, but I'm not the only person who says it, so it's a regional dialect. That's all it is. Yeah. Well, I'm from Utica, and I've never heard that.
It's pronounced Arkansas.
Arkansas. Good old vines.
Oh,
yeah. Why is this pronounced Kansas?
Explain.
And this is not pronounced Arkansas.
This one is Kansas, but this is not Arkansas. America, explain. So you're doing that, and I'm doing Team 4-Star.
Yeah, we could just go
Arkansas
full internet reference episode. We could.
I would like to mention, just while I remember, Team 4-Star, because they started doing a series before the pandemic called Unabridged, which was essentially like a fake documentary series of them around the office, and it was fucking hilarious. And then they got 4 episodes in, and they had to stop because of the pandemic. Yesterday they uploaded episode 5, and I was like, oh my god, I can watch this again and not feel sad, because I haven't watched it since, because I just felt so sad. But Nick Landis, Lanny Pator, I love him. I love him so much. The voice of Vegeta, he's just the best. He's amazing.
It surprises me sometimes how you've got names that you can just pull out. I was thinking this when we were having our Doctor Who discussions, and you just pull out names of like doctors, and then like masters even. I can't even tell you the names of half the people I like.
I don't know.
Can't tell you half the names of the people in my social circles.
I've always been really good at that. When I have like a sort of special interest, I'm really, really good at knowing cast and crew. Like I can name every single one of the doctors. I can name most of the companions. Like, and not even just character names. I mean, like actor names as well.
Yeah.
But I tend to if somebody does something that I like, somebody plays a character that I like, or there's a particular film I like that's got a particular director, I tend to remember it because I'm always looking for something that person's done.
Yeah.
You know, like when I found out, God, how old is Shin Godzilla now? 2018? I was like, oh my God, Hideki Anno. And people were like, what? And I'm like, Anno from Neon Genesis Evangelion. They're like, what? And I'm like, this is why we don't have Evangelion 4. Maybe it was 3 at that point. Because that dude put that whole Rebuild series on pause to make a Godzilla film. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a fucking good Godzilla film, but Jesus fucking Christ.
But it's not Neon Genesis Evangelion.
No, and I mean, look, it's hard enough to follow that series as it is without years in between. Years. Yeah. I cannot stress how many years were between the Rebuild films. Like, it's disgusting.
Speaking of Neon Genesis Evangelion, I want one of these shirts, but I don't think I'd ever buy it. It's the one where it's the Garfield and Friends logo, and it's got Garfield, but it just says Neon Genesis Evangelion instead of Garfield and Friends.
Yeah, I like stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think my memory is just getting terrible. I'm forgetting things that I used to know. I don't really retain things now. I mean, they say like depression affects memory as well.
Yeah.
But even like lyrics to songs that I've always known, I don't know anymore. Quotes and stuff like that, I misquote so many things. Like even Bob's Burgers, I could have just watched something and I will not get the quote right.
Which is fine because it's the unimportant things like that I remember. Like ever since I was a little kid, my mum would pick me up from school and I'm talking like primary 3, so 8, 7 or 8 maybe. And every single day, and that's not an exaggeration, every single day I would walk out and my mum say, what had you forgotten? Like without even any reaction from me, she would say, what have you forgotten? I'd be like, oh yeah, and I'd have to run back in for my jumper, for my lunchbox, something. Every single fucking time. Every single time I leave the house, to this day, I'll say bye in the morning, I'll go downstairs, I'll get my keys, and then I'll have to run back upstairs for something. And my mum laughs. It's just like every single fucking time.
I like to think that it's like, at least back in the younger days, it was like the episode of The Simpsons, Homer at the bat, where one of the baseball players gets stuck. It was like, my house is on fire, my baby's in there. Don't worry, ma'am, I'll rescue your baby. He runs in, comes out with the baby. It's like, oh, thank you so much. And then you hear it, woof, woof, my dog's in there. Don't worry, ma'am, I'll rescue your dog. Goes back in. Then it cuts and it comes back later on. It's like, and my washer dryer is in there. It's like all this shit on the lawn that he's had to run in and out. I like to imagine that's what you were like, just going back and forward every day.
Once a day, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. Only the once.
Only the once.
I mean, but when you're 7 or 8 years old, you know, there's nothing important you need. Oh, what? I'm only wearing one shoe? Who cares?
I mean, that's when I remember it happening every day. It happened a lot every other time. But, you know, I can't remember that. But I can tell you, recite an entire Shakespeare sonnet from memory that I learned in 2008.
Yep.
Why do I know this?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be there anymore.
It doesn't, but it can leave. It lives rent-free in my head.
Yep. I have noticed the only things that I know now that I like, especially musically and lyrically, are the Durry songs. I think it might be because, like, even like bands like Korn with an R in it, because they have such a huge catalogue. Maybe it just has left my mind because of that reason, because there's so much. Whereas Durry, they've got one album, so there's less to know. So maybe that's what it is.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know, because even having said that, I've had songs come on shuffle that I haven't heard for years. And I still know the lyrics to all of them. And I'm like, what? Where were you hiding? What percentage of my brain are you taking up? Why can I remember that, but not like things that are important to my job?
Because you don't care about your job.
That's true.
The job is not what matters.
Yeah, the job is for money.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Even though there are things about air conditioning that I will probably never forget, unfortunately. But yeah, like old songs that I feel like I've never heard before, that happens sometimes when it's like, how can you not know this song when I probably have heard it? Or it's a song where it's like, I used to know this. And then it just takes a moment to like kick into gear and actually remember it.
Do you think that's what happened with Neil Patrick Harris when he claimed he hadn't heard the Spice Girls?
That is what I was thinking, yeah.
Don't believe it. Don't believe it, NPH.
So I pointed out this thing at the end of last week, right? So the other week, I was like, I really want to play Rock Band, but the drums, right? Because I've only been playing with a guitar, but I bought a whole bunch of, like, earlier in the year, I bought a bunch of Nine Inch Nails and David Bowie songs, the Bowie tracks. And some of them, they're either not fun or they're too hard to play on guitar. And it's like, they sound like they'd be better on drums. So the best plastic instrument drum set is the Guitar Hero Band Hero set with the round cymbals, 2 cymbals, 3 drum pads. That's what I've got. They're 15 years old. They've just degraded, right?
Yeah.
Foot pedal, I can't even find it. The cymbals, the cables, they're all just falling apart. So I decided maybe I should look into buying a new set. They are, almost impossible to find, especially locally. I went to like all these secondhand stores, pawn shops, things like that. Nothing. Wii version, you can find Wii instruments, 1 or 2 here or there. Online, you're talking hundreds of dollars.
Yep.
For these things.
I think because a lot of people just chucked them.
Yeah, I reckon. But they're all in the same boat. It's just like they're not built to last. The wires are just degrading to fuck. So then Kez said, look on Facebook Marketplace. So I did, and there was a set for $80, but it was very bad. It was very, very bad condition. But I was like, even if I just use the cymbals and the kick pedal with my main drum part, it'll be fine. And then, so I sent them a message, it's still available. They didn't even say, no, it's not available. They just marked it as sold. I was like, oh, gee, thanks, buddy. Thank you for that. Then I was sort of sad about it. It's like, maybe it's going to be like point blank and light gun games, where it's going to take 20-odd years before I'm able to enjoy them again at home, you know? Because since LCD TVs came out, these guns, they only work on CRT, not playable until one guy invents a technology that will work.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's going to take a new game or something like that, and it's like, so whatever. So I ended up looking on Facebook Marketplace again just to make myself feel good about not spending hundreds of dollars on a set of drums. And there was a set there listed, brand new in box, but the wireless receiver, the thing that you plug into the PlayStation, that had degraded. And it was all the cabling, very much like mine. It's just all the heatsink stuff, the plastic around the cable just crumbles off.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I've got mine and I know it works, so it's perfectly fine. They were asking for $20.
Well, I suppose that makes sense, because if theirs has degraded away so badly that it can't be played, it literally is worthless.
Well, no. The thing is, it works perfectly fine. Their dongle, everything, all works fine. Brand new in box. Yeah. I say in box, it would have come in the big main box with guitar and stuff. This is just the drums only. Drums and microphone. Yeah. So, and I felt kind of bad. So it's like, maybe they don't know what they're worth. But they did they said, just want them gone as well. Yeah. So maybe they're thinking, well, I took out $40 instead of 20 cash, because I don't deal with cash usually. Went to their house. This is the smart thing. I didn't realize this is the way to do it. Is you just give the street that you live on, and then your phone number, and then the person you're selling to calls you when they're there to weed out time wasters. It's brilliant. So I did that, and they're like, I'm not home at the moment. I've just left them out the front. Leave the money under the mat. I think if they were there, I would have given them the full 40 because I would have just felt bad. But then afterwards, it's like, well, just because they're worth more to me doesn't mean they're worth more to $20 to this person.
Yeah.
So
to that person, it's not they're not thinking about the money that they've lost on the value of it. They're just thinking, this is $20 plus space. Yeah,
exactly. So, and they were selling a bunch of other stuff as well, just for space making purposes. But so what I did, I just electrical taped the shit out of every single cable just to try and make it last as long as possible. And then it's like it's been I don't know, maybe 2 years since I've last played the drums on a Rock Band game. I started off with a song that I know. No, I don't know if it's the memory thing. I just didn't know how to use this thing in front of me. And this is something that I have spent hundreds of hours with.
Yeah.
Easily. And I just could not do it. After about maybe 2 hours worth of playing, that's when it sort of started to come back to me. I guess the muscle memory started to kick in. So maybe it's like that as well, with like an old song comes on that you haven't heard in years and you just know it. And it could just be due to like muscle memory.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. But although having said that, games are a funny one because if you use any other controller, your entire memory of how to use any other kind of controller just goes.
Yeah.
Like
if I'm playing anything, if they say push X, I'm like, I have to look down at the controller.
Yep. Yeah. Like whenever I'm switch from PlayStation to Nintendo for Pokemon, I'm like, how do I do this again? How do I get the thing? Where's the Pokemon? I can't remember any of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because
I think Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox, they all have an X on them, but they're all in different places.
Yeah.
Is that right? All three of them? Fucking hell. Yeah, it's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
First world problems, I guess, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you played some Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
You played some... How are you enjoying the new DLC?
I haven't played it a whole lot yet, but I was speaking to one of the workers in game yesterday because I went to go get something, and she's aware.
Was it Sneak Energy Drink?
No, it wasn't.
It
wasn't. It was Pokemon cards for the baby cousins.
Yes.
But she's seen me get a couple of them before. She goes, "Have you got Laddie yet?" And I'm like, "No, I need Laddie." She's like, "Did you know you can trade with Laddie in the new DLC?" And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to see some of the particular kinds of Pokemon that are in there. But I'm still sad that not all of them are in there. I don't like the fact... Just because a Pokemon isn't in the Pokedex shouldn't stop me from having that one in the game. I don't give a shit if it's, on the little checklist or collectible something. I want to play the little trash bag boy.
What? You want to play the little trash... There's a Pokemon that's a little trash bag?
Yeah. Trubbish.
Okay.
It's literally called Trubbish. He's a little trash bag and he's the cutest fucking thing ever. And the first time I seen him, I'm like, what the fuck is that? And now, these days, I'm like, he's so fucking cute.
Yeah.
I love him.
Okay.
I love him so much.
What's he carrying? Or is that his hands?
I think it's his hands.
They've got like jewels on him or something. He's a weird, he's not, he just looks like a trash bag. He's not really a trash bag, surely.
Yeah, it just looks like a trash bag.
Okay, yeah. It's like the ones that look like an ice cream and not ice creams.
Yeah, but he's got that sad little face. Yeah. With the little pointy teeth and the bag handles that look like bunny ears. And I love him.
He looks like he would nom on you in a friendly way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet boy.
Yep.
Good boy.
Do you want to talk about your stream at all?
All I'll say about it is I tried it. I'm just not up for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget my own limitations with certain things, which is weird because my limits go up and down. I built a fucking bed a couple of weeks ago, right? And
oh yes, that's right. That's on our list that we showcased for at the end of last week's episodes was how do you dispose of an old bed?
Yeah. So
we'll get to that.
I built bed last week, so on paper, on paper, I should have the energy and stamina to do things. I started streaming after work and could not fucking... just nothing. Even today, I'm just like, I have nothing.
I assume you're saying in terms of still in recovery mode as to opposed to having just like the get up and go to do it. Because like you enjoy building like IKEA stuff and things like that.
Well, that's true. That's true. I think I find it incredibly therapeutic building furniture. I don't know why, but I've always enjoyed it. I love it.
It's like if you were in my locale, I would have said you can come over and build those bedside tables. If you really want.
I've fucking thought about putting it out there. Like I will fucking build your IKEA furniture. I'll do that as a job. Just
IKEA hire people that go to people's houses to build the furniture for them. You could work for IKEA.
Yeah, they don't pay a huge amount though.
How dare they?
I know. So
they don't pay those big AML bucks.
No, they don't. So yeah, I have to suffer in the meantime. So yeah, on the one hand I built a bed, and on the other I just don't even have to get up and go to play a video game for more than an hour and a half without then having to turn it off and go straight to bed. Yeah. Yep. Like,
and it probably would have been a little more taxing on you as well with doing it while streaming.
And straight after work as well.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like...
Yeah, I'm lucky in that sense at the moment where it's become a bit of a rhythm for me and a regular pattern for when I stream.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, on whatever night it was, I want to say Thursday night, I couldn't sleep. I got like 2.5 hours max the entire night. I woke up at 2 a.m. Got out of bed at 2:30 because it wasn't going to happen. And yeah, I'm like, I know, I'll just start fucking around with Procreate Dreams. And while I'm doing it, I might as well stream. So went on stream. Jobeth showed up. Hey, howdy, Jobeth. And then my internet died. My internet just... It's 2:30 in the morning, Rude. And the internet's like, nah, I don't want to work. So it's like, fuck you, buddy. Fuck you.
Rude.
And then, yeah, I ended up going to bed again at maybe 5 o'clock and got a little bit of extra sleep. But I was up again at 7:20 and then streaming at 8. My regular scheduled streaming. So yeah, it's, yeah. But this can kind of meld into art talk, I guess. Then, first of all, we do have a bit of cheese bag mail, but we're going to do a little bit of art talk, and then we'll go into cheese bag mail. But I feel like we have to start this off with a cheese bag mail for this art talk. So I'm going to hit the mailbag button. I don't know if the music's going to play. There it is.
There we go.
Gosh, this music sounds way too happy and cheery for today's episode, doesn't it? But let's see. It's here somewhere. There we go. This email comes from Cliff Hughes. And Cliff says, "Hey buddy, what is the definition of an art crime? Is it an art created by cheese bags? Cheers, Cliff." Well, no, it's not necessarily art created by cheese bags. It's just... I mean, yes, it is, but it also isn't, because you don't have to be a cheese bag to commit an art crime.
The original definition of art crime was hunky boy. That was the original definition, because art crimes comes from me saying I will commit crimes against art and God.
Yeah. Was it the hunky boy was the original, or was it the fucking Windy Ginger?
No, because I've done Windy Ginger during the hunky boys phase, which is petered out. Which I may go back and redo and retouch up. But was there something else? There's maybe something else that I was like, this is a fucking crime.
Yeah, crimes against art and God. But yeah, an art crime, it's sort of turned into anything. Look, you can say as a cheese bag or a listener. I guess you don't have to identify as a cheese bag to create an art crime. But when we are saying we want your art crimes, it's just any art that you've done. that you would like to send to us, because we want to see it, and we want to talk about it, and we want to say how good it is, because we're only ever going to say nice things about it. If it's something that you're proud of and you've sent it to us and we don't talk about it, just know we still probably like it. It might just not be the right content for us to talk about.
I believe...
Not that we've received anything like that.
I believe the first documented use of art crime that I can find is from October 2021.
Okay.
Where I posted something, do I feel this will get me sent to art jail for art crimes? Yes.
Yes, I recall that.
Ass-eating Wendy.
Yes.
When I was like,
for,
if I...
ICS, wasn't it?
Yeah, because this was pre-Scoop Fest. This was pre-Scoop Fest.
Yeah, it would have been.
And I was
this
like,
was 2021, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So I was like, if I ever get to America, I'm going to be immediately banned from every Wendy's in the country.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, from my experience at Wendy's, no problem being banned. Every time, I say every time, both times I've eaten Wendy's, I have been ill.
I think there was that. So there was that. There was, I call this one, how many art crimes can Brogan commit in one day?
Yeah.
And it was somebody, it would have been Slaking. It could only have been Slaking.
Probably, yeah.
Who sent me a Play Bear magazine cover and said, Paul.
Yeah.
I was like, Sauce Paul, gotta do it. And then Hunky Boys, all three Hunky Boys, and then Don't Talk to Me or My Bat Mom Ever Again.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, definition of an art crime started off being something that you feel like shouldn't exist. Here's a good one. There's a comic by... I'll find the exact thing, because as I said, I'm not great with memory and quotes. All right, here it is. So it's a comic by Extra Fabulous Comics, Zach, who I love Extra Fabulous.
We know and love.
Shit, maybe I'll do it. Not so good at this podcast style.
Okay.
I'll do it like that. I'll read it. Okay. All right, so the comic gets 4 panels long. The first panel, there's a guy talking to an art class and is saying, "Remember, class, anything can be art." And then he walks up behind someone who's looking quite sad with their art in front of them, and he says, "Except for what Bobby drew today. Bobby drew a picture of Goku making love to Spider-Man." And you can see that there is Goku making love to Spider-Man from behind. But Goku is fully naked, Spider-Man wearing his Spider-Man costume, just with his pants down below his butt. And in the last panel, the guy's saying, "Bobby has created the opposite of art." That's the comic. So that's like the traditional art crime definition.
I have to say, as someone who's been on the internet long enough to accidentally fall for some certain things that the internet says...
Some Rule 34s?
Google this to find out more. You know, like I think the worst one was something to do with, I don't know if it was Sonic the Hedgehog or if it was like Sonic the fast food brand. And it was to do with their stock prices. It's like to find out more, Google Sonic inflation.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of thing. That kind of thing. When you don't understand things.
Yeah, it's like if you're having a party and you want some lemons, let's check out Lemon Party.
God, lemon, that's an old school term.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But now the new definition of art crimes, at least for podcast sake, is anything that you send to us for us to look at. I don't want to say review or critique. It's just for us to talk about and appreciate. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Art crimes can be good art or bad art. Art crimes are art crimes art. Just
I think
art.
If it's I think one of the main qualifiers for it to be sent to us is you should be proud of it. It should be something that you enjoy doing and making and that you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah.
But Big Sexy reached out and asked, does bad poetry count as art crimes? Abso-fucking-lutely it does.
I mean, on a technical level, are we taking bad poetry? Because I feel like that might be stealing from ICS, and
it is ICS's bit.
Yeah, and I don't want to take it away from Jacob because
he loves it.
He loves it, and I genuinely do enjoy hearing him do poetry. I have a video on my phone of him doing one of Andrew Heaton's.
Yeah, but technically it is.
But it
is an art crime, just as fanfic is art crime.
Well, exactly.
Some arts are harder for us to discuss, because when it comes to like a fan fiction, which we have been sent before, it's like, do we read it live on the air? Do we read it beforehand? Because they can be can be long. It's hard to work out what to do. So
especially when it's for stuff that we don't have particular
knowledge of.
Well, exactly. And I mean, that even counts for stuff like the Nanny fan fiction, which you have enough knowledge to discuss the Nanny to a certain point with me, but not enough to go into fan fiction territory.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No.
But yeah, I think we sort of get into the habit now of calling most art crimes.
Yeah.
I mean, the arting that I've been doing has been turning my comics into a format suitable for TikTok and Instagram. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not really calling that an art crime, but really, the content of the comics could be considered an art crime. I
feel like you'll know an art crime when you see it. Like, for example, I don't know if I would count BILF as an art crime.
Not really. Not in the traditional sense.
Not in the traditional sense. Or certainly not... It only gets to be an art crime at a certain point. The actual image of Niall doing finger guns with sunglasses, not an art crime.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it at all.
The minute I slap BILF on it, and the minute I put a speed draw off it to Everywhere I Go by Hollywood Undead, that is an art crime.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, for these little videos, because Instagram doesn't want static images anymore; they want video content. So frankly, it's also like it's not the first time I've attempted doing something like this. Mm-hmm. As you know, the Not So Good at This podcast existed, and it's now been absorbed into Hey Buddy Nice podcast, like the additional
Hey Buddy.
Okay, I was going to compare it to like In the Womb where one fetus gets absorbed.
No, that's big. No.
Okay.
More cold and corporate, please. Thank you.
Yep, cold and corporate. An organisation, an entity is still a person for legal purposes.
Exactly.
Anyway, what was I saying? And originally when I was doing that, I was posting little videos. I think that was early on when you and I were talking before we had ever met in the flesh, about lip syncing and shit like that. Yeah, because that's what I was doing. I made a studio. Animated studio with a dude reading out the comics. So it's still someone sitting in a podcast booth reading a comic, not seeing the comic in the video whatsoever.
Because originally the Christmas video was supposed to have lip sync. But we ran out of time to the point that it was literally like probably at this point 2 years ago now that I think about it, because it was a week before Christmas.
Yeah.
That I was in the Twitter Art Mafia group chat going, what the fuck do I do with this? And I had Justin and Slaking and everybody just going around and being like, this is what we can do. Justin was pulling out music for me. Slaking was fixing the audio. But we just never it would have taken too long to lip sync it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were still thanked in the credits. You were still thanked in the credits for your efforts.
Yeah, if I wasn't working, I probably could have got the lip syncing done.
Yeah.
In maybe 5 or 6 hours worth of work.
It might be something I look at for next year. Updated art style and all that, like another 2 or 3 years experience and effort onto it, Originally, I used the original art from Andy, which I love. I would maybe quite like to do my own. I don't know if that's disrespectful, so I would like to speak to Paul about it.
No, it would be like doing a Super Mario Brothers movie, an animated version of a book.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, it's something I might look at. I don't think I've got a Christmas post for this year. I'm sure. I was literally about to say I'm sure I can put something together, and then I just sat. I was like,
yeah,
bitch, you are literally writing over 2,500 words a day.
That's your Christmas stuff there.
Yeah. Today's chapter is 3,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we are in the Christmas season now, and I'm glad that you pointed out we're how long away? 1 week away from Christmas Eve?
As of recording, we are 1 week away from Christmas Eve. Today is the 17th of December.
Yesterday, I was freaking out. I had no ideas, couldn't rely on anything that I'd written down for a comic to draw. I could have just done a Christmas comic. Once I've got a theme in my head, I can usually get a comic out of it. But instead, I didn't realize we're so close to Christmas. Did something about hadn't drawn a cat comic in a while. I think it turned out all right. So it all works out well in the end. But yeah, with those old school, not so good at this comic postings on TikTok and Instagram, they never got any attention. So I'm doing now what I should have done all along, because it turns out it's a funny thing, right? That if you want people to notice your art, you actually have to post the art itself.
I know, it's horrific, right?
Yeah, you can't just talk about it.
Well, it's like, let me have a look, because that's what I do on TikTok. Whenever I post TikToks, mine is art stuff like Bilf. The most viewed one is, that's actually hilarious, I didn't realise it was that high. Was what are they called? Mugshots. The mugshot meme. But it said
because Barbie and that was trending at the time.
Yep. So it's the supernatural ones in Barbie, and it's the nanny versions.
Yeah.
Which I might redo and do in colour, because I do like that one a lot.
Now, this may surprise you, but my most popular TikTok video is the Slutty Ditto. Of course it is.
What?
But, like, before Slutty Ditto, the most views anything I'd put on TikTok I've ever had was 600. And that's not a whole heap.
No, the nanny stuff tends to get more than that. Yeah.
But the first animated... It's not even animated comic, right? So what I've done, I was originally going to do it all in Dreams, right? But it turned out it was too much of a steep learning curve for me to work out that to do exactly what I wanted to do when I know I can do it. I can pump them out. Like I made 3 yesterday just in my spare time using the computer. The hardest part for me is doing it on TikTok, finding a decent track to put it to. But the first one I put up, just basically in the first hour, 1,800 views.
See, there you go.
Yeah. But then it just died in the arse, and since then, it's only gotten up to 1837.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's what it does.
I think the algorithm knows when you haven't posted in a while, it's going to show it to more people.
Yeah.
But I'm still using Procreate Dreams for it, because it starts off, right? You said you haven't actually clicked on them because it's giving you anxiety to do so.
It's giving me anxiety to click on anything at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, anything, yeah. But it starts off with, and it says a comic, but it's like it's a wibbly animation. You know that wibbly kind of classic style animation? It's like that, which I've just updated it today as well. So it does that, then it has the comic, and me reading it, basically. So it shows the panel. So I'm still doing it sort of more relaxed than the not so good at this podcast way. So I'll be like, all right. So you got the first panel. There's a guy and a girl standing in a morgue, or what appears to be a morgue, with a dead body on a slab. And there's a guy, and his hand is bleeding. And up until that stage, it's just the picture, no text. And then when I say, and then the guy says, I have the text pop in as I said it, as I'm saying it. Yeah. So there's still a little bit of animation going on in it. And then... Like I've enjoyed fucking around with Procreate because the Dreams, because the small things I'm doing is getting me used to the basics. Yeah. Like I even animated a I'll show you. Again, this is an audio format, so we're talking about visual things here. This was the first ending that I did for it. It's just a little wobbly. watch me draw on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I like that, but it's not being posted on Twitch. I should probably advertise myself a bit more. And I changed it to this, where it's just cycling through different social media platforms that you can find me on.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it's just a basic little animation. Wasn't too hard to do, really. The hardest part was learning how to use the software. Yeah. And I'm getting there. For that sort of shit, piece of piss. Easy. Yeah. I can do that all day because it's overdrawing. It's traditional animation style. Yeah. But yeah, that's been, I guess, the bulk of my arting. I draw a comic and that's about it. Mm. Do we go into Cheesebag Mail? We're about 40-odd minutes in.
Yeah, we could do.
Okay, all right, let's see. What do we got in Cheesebag Mail? We've got... we said something about... All right, here we go. In response to... We put out the call. It's been answered. I'm going to hit the Cheesebag Mail. Cheesebag Mail music, cheese mailbag, I can't remember which it is. Whatever it is, here it is. We were talking about Christmas crackers. Your mum asked about Christmas crackers, so we've had some responses. Oh. First up, we've got from Winter's Scoop. It says, Texas American here. We don't have Christmas crackers. The only exposure to Christmas crackers I've ever had was watching the Christmas specials on the BBC Online. The only paper crown we have in America is from Burger King, and you have to ask them for it. Party poppers, though, we got those. They are generally only used for milestone parties like anniversaries, New Year's, and surprise birthday parties.
That surprises me about the paper crown thing, because I feel like that's such a iconic thing.
Well... Or like, you know what though? America don't have the monarchy.
No, as in like I feel like it's the kind of thing that you would see in Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
Which is what surprises me. I could be wrong. I could be completely making that up, but it does feel like that.
But Winter Scoop, not the only one.
Good.
Mitzi, no. Where is it? Yeah, Mitzi on Twitter said, @NicePodBud, as an American, I can tell you how we open... That doesn't make sense. As an American, I can't tell you how we open Christmas crackers because the only Christmas crackers I've ever encountered have been Ritz or Saltines.
There you go.
So, yeah. And I was talking to Chris. Not Mitzi, Chris.
Yeah, Microscoop.
The Microscoop. Again... Never did not Christmas crackers don't exist, and party poppers like 4th of July, New Year's.
Yeah,
why
is fucking... this? So is it a British and English thing? Or
yeah,
is it
seems
just or is it
European?
Just a non-American thing?
Maybe it's a non-American. Yeah. So that goes in the red folder. We've read the art crime question. Sorry, I organised our inbox today.
Good for you.
So I'm keeping it clean. We had another thing from Winter's Scoop. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Because we were talking about super glue, and we were talking about, was it in the bonus content? Was it this actual?
I genuinely can't remember.
Neither can I.
Oh, is it about the stuff I was telling you about?
No. Oh, yeah, that's when we were talking about glue. We were talking about that's why our episode is brought to you by transglutaminase, or whatever it was. But no, Winter Scoop says, so, I love a great fact. For the longest time, said superglue was invented in World War II for field sutures. I was shown that I was slightly off. It was invented during WW2, but was a Bob Ross happy accidental invention that went on to save lives in Korea and Vietnam. For me, more to the story makes it rich and enjoyable, like sprinkles on a cake. And then links us to a blog about superglue saving wounded soldiers in the battlefield. So I kind of had similar sort of facts in my head, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What else have we got? They're just actual. We got one more. We've got one more, and we billboarded this one at the end of last episode.
Let me get comfy.
Yeah, get comfy. I've read a bit of this already, but it's a big one, and it comes from Scoop Cheeses. Let's, can we do a word count on this? Let's see. View, edit. You can do it. You used to be able to do a word count in Notepad. Oh, well, can't.
Copy
it
and
takes
paste
up a lot of
it into
space.
Google Doc.
Yeah, I could. Now, I'm going to read this. We are considering this an art crime. We are considering this cheese bag mail. And we are considering it obligatory podcast quiz-based thing because it gets into quiz questions as well. But I'll post a picture of this, the way it's formatted, because there is no formatting. I'm just going to... Should I read it as it's presented, or should I try and add punctuation?
Try and add punctuation, please.
Okay, cool.
For the love of God.
I'll do my best. So it says, hello, Brogan and Wayne. Forgive any errors that might be in this cheese bag mail. I'm currently driving from California to Las Vegas, so I'm doing this with voice to text. Jeez. And that's what I liked as well, because with your voice memos and stuff that didn't work or didn't make sense, yeah, it sort of harkens back to that. Want to be sure to drive safely, so this way I can keep my eyes on the road, even though it's a very straight road. It says street road and a pretty boring drive. It's kind of like desert bus. It's kind of like desert bus, except I think it's a little more exciting than the drive because that's Arizona to Vegas, I believe. Yeah. I've done the drive from California to Vegas and vice versa. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to do it again. I enjoyed it the first few times. Never want to do it again. Anyway, I thought I'd send in a cheese bag mail because I noticed on any of your recent episodes you didn't have much cheese mail. But I guess I should have something to actually talk about and not just ramble. I recorded an audio scoop earlier this drive. Are they doing that? Are they actually doing audio scoop mail?
Yes.
They were talking about it, yeah. But that's a different podcast. We don't need to talk about that. I don't know if any of my scoop mail will be played, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, cheese bags are scoops. What? Yes. License plates. Whenever I see an interesting license plate, and Vegas has a lot of interesting license plates because a lot of people pay for the vanity plates in Vegas for some reason, I like to try and get a picture of them. So I'm driving my wife's in the car. I don't know. Driving with my wife's car? I don't know. I'll have her take a picture of it. Otherwise, I stopped at a red light behind something and took a photo. I tried to take a picture of it at a red light, but I want to look through my phone right now because you're driving. I know about a game that some friends of mine like to help them out with sending the pictures when I see them. So my friend and his wife was my friend. No longer friends. I knew him, referred him as my friend, but his wife is a human being in her own right. So they play a game? What? I'm so confused. All right, there's a guy.
I think it's meant
and his wife.
I think he's talking about the fact that it's his friend's wife. And it's like, oh, I don't like the fact that I said that because she is the separate human being.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. If we're trying to avoid names, it's a suitable way to say it. Don't know if you're familiar with the Punch Buggy game. Do you know Punch Buggy? Do you have Punch Buggy?
Not one I know of by that name.
Okay, so when you see a Volkswagen Beetle, you say Punch Buggy?
No. Similar games, but not that game. Not anyone would say that.
Okay. Well, this is a bit different. It says, when you see the old Beetle, you call out the color, and if you spotted that one first, then I don't know. But they play a little more... This gets hard to read. There's another game called Tickle Satan. That can't be right. That must be a spelling mistake. And the Tickle Satan works is if you see a license plate that has 666 together, 3 sixes. Okay, so it is called Tickle Satan.
Yeah.
So if you see a license plate that has 666 together, you call out Tickle Satan and tickle the person. What?
Oh, that's horrific.
That sounds like a terrible game.
I'm distressed thinking about it.
Yeah. Imagine if you're in an Uber and you're only with the Uber driver and you see one, you go, Tickle Satan, and you go for the Uber driver.
I don't have good responses to tickle out. Violence is the only response that my body knows. I've punched Mitchell before because he tried to tickle me. I
fucking hate it.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like it's painful or something. I don't know what it is. Yeah. It's not good.
Yeah, it's like people have warned me before, and somebody. Oh no.
I think Kez wants to say something. Okay, Kez says she's not ticklish.
Lucky.
But she is Satan.
I don't even need to see Kez on camera to know that she's glaring at Wayne.
I said that while she was eating, so she couldn't respond. Found that interesting. They would see these very sparingly. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a 666. I know a lot of people who get that license plate as vanity plate. Yeah, all right. There are a lot of Christians who don't want to have that license plate. But for whatever reason, I've seen so many plates in Vegas that aren't vanity plates that do have 666. Also like to count 999s, but of course 666 are the best. I was actually sad because my license plate has 2 sixes in a row. I feel like I missed out on a license plate.
Technically, the number of the beast isn't 666, it's 616.
Ah, cool.
Fun fact for you there.
Fun fact. Where are we? I've lost my place in this giant wall of text, and you'll see why when we post it on the socials. 2 sixes. I guess one benefit of me doing the voice to text rather than an audio file is when I'm trying to think of what to say next, you're not just hearing a bunch of dead air, I suppose. Actually, dead air I can easily cut out. Rambling like this while I'm trying to think of the next topic, it's very helpful. How about some trivia? I remember early on when you were asking for trivia to be sent in, just because podcast and trivias, or at least podcast in the Scoop universe, have trivia in them. At least I know, of course, ICS is trivia and therapy does trivia. Pod therapy does trivia. Let's try out some trivia. Of course, I don't know how I'm going to do the answers to the trivia, because if I put them in voice to text, it would just be right after the question. Okay, so maybe ask the trivia questions, you can answer them, and I will score them afterwards when I hear the episode. What? That means there's no answers here? We're going to be left, like, in the lurch, not knowing if we were right?
Cliffhanger.
Okay. Score them afterwards. I can update you on the score. How about that? I don't like trivia. What? You can play against each other and just alternate whose answers. All right, let's see. Just grab trivia questions. Here we go. It's a grab bag. Most everyone knows the Star Wars movies and subsequent sequels, but what was the name of the director George Lucas's debut film? Later borrowed the name from, or at least part of the name from, the title of his movie theater audio company, and of course this one I'm not talking about Skywalker Sound. It's named from Star. Look, I know it, but I don't know it.
Yeah.
THX something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the one that's got the bald head poster with the...
That's not how trivia works.
We don't have answers. Tell Kes we don't have answers. It doesn't matter.
We don't have the answers.
You can't just go, I know it, but I don't know it.
Yeah, I know it. THX whatever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Okay. Film student made something.
Yeah, something like that. THX.
Question 2. I'll do another movie question and switch categories. Question 2. I can't remember if you discussed this on your podcast, but I'm pretty sure this has come up on ICS before. Who directed the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas? And bonus points if you can name one other movie from that director.
Henry Selick, Coraline.
Yes, see, I always get tripped up on this because I used to think it was... What's his face?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. But no. Is it... written by and designed by, or...
Tim Burton wrote the original Nightmare Before Christmas poem. He had heavy influences in the design of the film.
It looks very Tim Burton.
It looks very Tim Burton. It was actually directed by Henry Selick, who also directed Coraline.
No relation to Tom Selleck.
No relation to Tom Selleck.
Allegedly. All right, so we're pretty sure we've got that one. I reckon that's 1.5 points between us. Mm-hmm. All right, where are we? I don't know what else is going on in this, but it's getting very hard to read. And I don't even think we're halfway through. Holy shit, we're not halfway through. Okay, American trivia, or at least Vegas trivia. This is more in our wheelhouse then. Actually moving away from Vegas, but we're going to be putting up our house for rent if you know anyone who has been dreaming of moving to Vegas and needs a place.
There we go.
This is becoming very hard to read, so what we're going to do... I'm going to read through the rest of it in my personal time. If there's anything else that we need to... Oh, I mean, look, this looks like a question here. 34 multiply that by 59 or multiplied by 5 divided by 9. I think that's a question as well. If there's anything else that we think we need to reference in it, we will. But if we're judging this as an art crime, I have to say the commitment to it, it's great. It's, yep. I think it's purposefully like this, and yeah. Art crime, 10 out of 10.
I appreciate the
as a
effort
cheese
that
bag
went into
mail.
it.
Yes. And I understand that drive. You need something to do, so why not narrate to a phone? As a cheese bag mail, I'll give it I'm gonna have to give it a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10, I think. It's a difficult read, just for the punctuation's sake. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's appreciated. Absolutely.
I think the problem with doing speech to text on such a huge amount of words is that the longer it goes on, the less gets picked up in translation.
Yeah.
So it starts to get a bit muddled. It's easier when it's smaller chunks.
Smaller chunks. Chunks was the dog's name. Penn says that all the time. You know what it's referencing? No.
Is it I love you, dog?
It's a joke. No. No, I'm not going to say it.
No. Tell me later.
But the punchline is Chunks is the dog's name. Anyway, yeah, look, we would read more, but we've also come to the close of this episode. I didn't realize how long this cheese bag mail was. But if you want to send in your cheese bag mails, they can be sent to admin@nicepodbud.com or go to nicepodbud.com, and there's a contact form. You can, send them right through. But that's not the only way you can get in contact with us. You can also talk to us. One way you can talk to us, I discovered that you don't have to give us money to follow us on Patreon.
That's true.
If that is your only source of social media, you can interact with us on Patreon. So that's good, which is patreon.com/nicepodbud. But hell, if you do want to give us some coin, it helps us out. It pays for things like website expenses and things like that. And we're going to have email expenses coming up too for your cheese bag mail. But yeah, a few bucks is all it takes, and you get extra bonus content. Like, we've got like 20 minutes of bonus content from this episode alone, so it's not like you get nothing for your money. There's even tiers where we will send you stuff every month.
I thought you meant tears as in like teardrops there for a second. I was like,
oh yeah, I cry into every envelope that I send. Yeah. You can taste the saltiness. So when you open it, you get the aroma of the saltiness.
It's just an Australian cry, like a howler.
But yeah, we do appreciate it. But if you cannot support us financially, that's perfectly fine. Or what you're doing already, listening to the show, that's great. We appreciate that. I've said appreciate a lot, but that's because we appreciate you. But a really good way to help us is if you see us in the wild making posts on social media @nicepodbud. Interact. We do our best to stay vigilant and reply. Sometimes it gets missed, or we might be busy and not be able to reply straight away, but we like to have conversation. So yeah, that's good. But you can also conversate to us individually on a personal basis. With Brogan, it's just simple as finding them at 7 billion needles.
You'd be surprised at how many people have found me because I'm at 7 billion needles on everything.
Everything.
Yep. Like people from AO3 coming over to Instagram and being like, I'm really sorry. Is this the same one as writing the nanny fan? Yeah, no, it's me, bitch.
Is this the same 7 billion needles that wrote that 100,000 words?
I mean, it's up to over 50,000 now.
Yeah,
if you want to speak to Wayne, you can find him at Wayne Geo.
And I'm surprised when people find me on other social media channels when it's at Wayne Geo, because I'm at Wayne Geo on everything. I'm just surprised that people want to find me. That's all.
Except Facebook. You're very surprised when people find you on Facebook.
Fuck Facebook. Fuck them all. Fuck every social media channel, especially Facebook.
Apart from Tumblr, because Tumblr just out there doing its own thing.
Yeah, but you do you, Tumblr. You do you. Anyway, thanks for stopping by and having a listen.
As always, stay fresh, cheese bags.